Hi, this is Robert O'Reilly. My name is Gowron. Honor to you and your house. You're listening to Trek FM.
Tea Earl Grey hot.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Earl Grey, Trek FM's dedicated podcast to the next generation. I'm your host, Amy Nelson, and joined with me today are Lee Hutchison and Richard Marquez. Hello, Lee.
How are you, Amy?
Fabulous. Very excited for today. And Richard.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. So we are very excited for today. We are going to do a mix and match. And so what that means is we're going to choose 3 episodes and we can do whatever we want with it. We can exchange crews from another series. We can put our crew into another series. We can bring in other crews into a TNG episode, or sky's the limit. Guys, I'm feeling we have some surprises here. So, what do you guys think about that topic?
It's a hot topic.
I absolutely love it. I actually had some fun thinking about it, and yeah, this is gonna be fun.
Was this one was there not a listener that recommended this idea?
I do believe it was. Go ahead.
Yes, it was a listener. Oh gosh, I forgot who it was.
Well, whatever listener that is that's listening to this, know that despite the fact we've clearly forgotten your name, we do love you. And we hope that you enjoy this episode. And hopefully there's someone out there on their commute or their run or they're sitting on the toilet listening to this podcast that goes, it was me. If it's you, reach out to us and we'll give you some love.
I actually thought it was Justin that gave us this idea.
No, it was one of our listeners who writes, and he was saying that he would like to see a TNG episode, but then mix up. So like instead of Data, it would be Beverly Crusher, and like change the characters on a TNG episode within that episode.
Okay.
Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah, we took it to the extreme, and we're like, we are just going to mix it all up and have a mismatch of episodes. So yeah, that's what we did. So thank you. We do read your comments on Babel Conference, and we're going to take it and run. So Richard, so let me tell you, we have chosen, like I said, 3 episodes. And Richard, why don't you share with us your first mix match?
Well, I actually went through, going through them all and everything. You know, since it's a TNG podcast, I figured we just replace another crew with the TNG episode. So my first one, because I'm going to save the best for last, I wanted to change a command, and I would love it if Jonathan Archer and his crew were to take on that whole entire episode. I really think, I mean, okay, don't get me wrong, Picard's a great character, you know, Riker, you know, they could all be aggressive and whatnot, but I could see Archer coming in and beating people up and just like, you know, what's going on? You know, shaking the alien out of them or something like that. And you don't even need phasers to kill that last one. He'll shake that alien right out of his ear. And I just think that it would be so much more dramatic if it was Jonathan Archer. That's just me. So. Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, you could say he's leaped into someone else's body or position here.
There you go. I see what you did. Oh boy.
I get that reference.
What about yourself, Amy? let's hear your first one.
Okay, well, my first one is a fan favorite, Rascals. And I, too, chose the Enterprise crew. I was thinking that, since the Enterprise crew is smaller, we would only have just 3 instead of 4 get turned down to little kids. So in TNG, this is obviously the episode where they get taken down to their kids, and that was Picard, Ro, Guinan, and Keiko O'Brien. So in place of Picard, we would have Captain Archer, and in place of Ro, we would have T'Pol. And in place of Guinan, we would have Phlox. And the reason I chose Phlox was because in Next Gen, Guinan and Ro, they're the ones that are together, and Guinan's basically helping Ro relive her childhood. And I like the interplay with Phlox and T'Pol, because Phlox really knows how to enjoy and live for the moment. And I think he could teach little T'Pol how to enjoy her youth without so much suppressing her emotions. So I wanted to see that interplay. And then, of course, we would have Riker be played with Trip. And so, Archer would be, hey, Dad, to Trip. That would be pretty funny. And so then we would have, instead of the Ferengi taking over the Enterprise, we would have the Suliban, of course, trying to take over the NX-01.
I'm surprised you even know the villains in Enterprise.
Hey, now. Shout out to my Warp 5 friends. Yes, Enterprise is my second favorite.
I actually had Rascals originally down on one of my lists, but I removed it. But I will tell you who it was originally going to be in my crew, like I was going to swap them out with. So it's called Rascals. What about the Little Rascals? Instead of Picard, Ro, Guinan, and Picard, Guinan, Ro, and Keiko O'Brien, it would have been Spanky, Alfalfa, Darla, and Stymie. You could just imagine like beaming over, and like Alfalfa's like turned back into a kid again, and it's like, Captain, you're a kid again, and his little hair will ping up, and that's pretty much the only image I had in my head of the of my crossover with the Rascals with Little Rascals crew.
Love it.
And instead of like trying to hijack the Enterprise, it's like kids from another like neighborhood that are trying to like take over the ship as if it's almost what's it called, a
tree house or something like that. Yeah. Perfect. I love it. Well, Lee, if you didn't want to include Little Rascals, give us one from your list.
Well, I'm off to cross the streams here. So it's like a kind of semi sort of sequel, prequel to First Contact. The Borg sphere is kind of a sphere shape, isn't it? Kind of similar to a Death Star. Now, what happens if the Rogue One crew were sent on a mission to get the plans to this time-traveling Borg sphere instead of the Death Star? So you've got Jin and everyone in between, and they go off, and they're sent on this mission to go behind the enemy lines to Borg space to get these plans so that it doesn't destroy Earth by assimilating the past to change the future. I could just like picture the Rogue One crew just doing their deep undercover stuff and fighting on Borg planets to get closer and closer to the Borg Nexus or the Queen's Lair to get their hands on this the Borg sphere plans as opposed to the Death Star plans. So why not, eh?
I love it. I have not seen Rogue One. But I can imagine everything that you said.
Okay, I'm going to terminate her feed right now.
To be fair, after was all our confessions about not having seen Deep Space Nine, like her not having seen a Star Wars movie is actually pretty good. I haven't seen a Star Wars movie. Brilliant, you're back on side. You're showing your Trekkie roots over being a Star Wars fan.
That's right.
All right, welcome back to the gang.
Welcome back to the Star Trek treehouse.
Yeah.
Girls are allowed.
I was going to say no Star Wars fans allowed.
There you go. I like that.
Oh my goodness.
So you like that, Richard, Rogue One? I know that you saw the movie. Can you see that happening?
Yeah, actually, I thought we were just doing the cruise of a previous Star Trek.
Well, I went Rogue One.
Yeah, I actually like it. Yeah, I that would be you said relics, right? Is that what you said? Or did you say Rascals? I'm sorry.
Amy.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
Rogue One instead of the Borg Sphere Queen plans.
Oh, yeah. I was actually picturing in my mind the Dyson Sphere that was in Relics and thinking that was the Death Star as well. But yeah, I like it a lot. I mean, it is to scale, to be quite honest. It is a massive man-made or alien-made structure that surrounds a star. But regardless, yeah, I actually like it a lot. Yeah, I could see it. Yeah.
Very good. All right. Well, Richard, tell us another episode that you mixed and matched.
I think Justin's going to like me for this one because I'm going with Time Zero.
Woohoo!
And I really think it would be fantastic to see the Deep Space Nine crew in Time Zero. I just think that mainly because it's just I could see Kira being the aggressive one throughout the whole entire episode. Like, you see Riker as the police officer. Obviously, Kira is going to be the police officer. I can only imagine what she would do while in the 19th century. I'm sure that would be appalling to everyone there. But like, I just think overall that it's a very good crew that. And the reason why I chose the Deep Space Nine crew is because of Far Among the Stars. I think that's what the episode is. Basically, the one that talks about race in the episode.
Oh yeah, Far Beyond the Stars.
Past. Far Beyond the Stars. Thank you. And the reason why I chose it that way is because all of them were very good, or at least they're. I mean, I'm not saying the TNG crew is not good at all either, but. It's a different type of actors that have different sets or skill sets that I believe that are I think they're just a little bit more above the TNG crew, and I think that the chemistry was a lot better with the Deep Space Nine crew than the TNG. But then again, it's also another series. They had more continuity than probably Enterprise than TNG did. So yeah, there is that.
So who is going to be decapitated? Whose head are they going back for?
That's a question and a half, isn't it? Who's getting decapitated? Screams the teacher.
That's a good. I never thought of it. I never thought about that. Oh my gosh.
I mean, would it have to be Odo? I mean, would he be the only one that would be?
Yeah, he'd be like a puddle of goo or something like that.
Right?
Ouch.
Excellent. That is good. I can see that definitely, yeah, from Far Beyond the Stars. And you can see that the DS9 crew, they enjoy doing their period pieces, and it would just fit right in.
Exactly. Especially like Bada Bing, Bada Boom,
yeah.
That one as well. I mean, that's a great episode as well that, they don't have to be just space people or astronauts or whatever.
Yeah. Love it.
What about yourself, Amy? Let's hear number 2.
Okay, so this one, I had just finished at the time of this recording listening to Mission Log, and they did Ship in a Bottle with Moriarty. And if you haven't listened to it, I highly recommend it. But their question is, Moriarty, is he life? I mean, now he knows where he's at. He has consciousness, and he wants to get out of the holodeck and does that represent new life? And so with that really got me thinking about, well, Moriarty is a holodeck. And so I chose to mix and match Measure of a Man with the Voyager crew. And because I thought we could take that a little further into the future, into the 24th century, where we've decided that data is life. And now the question is the Doctor life? because he's a hologram. So go ahead, Richard.
No, I was going to say, is that before or after they went through the dilemma with the doctor on ethics? Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh,
guess.
gosh.
All right, you guys throw me under the bus every episode.
So, no, the reason why I say that is that actually that's perfect because the Voyager crew would be better because they've dealt with it before, or at least they did so in the episode. I can't remember what episode it was, but it was about the Doctor's ethics on what was right, what was wrong, and whatnot. And I think that was the aftermath of what he did to 7 of 9 after the equinox, what he did to her after the equinox, and basically all his ethic subroutines were basically deleted or paused or whatever, and he could do whatever he wanted to her. So that's why I was saying is it before or after that? I would assume after that, but
then let's say after. Yeah.
No, because I that's a really good choice because they actually do really well, and they do raise a lot of those questions on if it's a computer program, what stops it from actually doing the unethical thing versus doing the ethical thing. I mean, obviously it's a program algorithm or something like that, but really that's the only thing that would stop them.
Well, cool. Then this makes my list of characters makes a little more sense after that. So for Data, obviously the Doctor, we're putting him on trial for Is It Life? And then instead of Picard defending, it would be Janeway defending that the Doctor is life. And for the person to play Riker, who was trying to disprove, then I was going to have 7 of 9 play that character.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really good. I would have got Benedict Cumberbatch from Star Trek Into Darkness to play Sherlock Holmes instead of Data. I think he might be kind of pretty tailored to that role. I don't know if you've seen the Sherlock TV show.
Oh, yes, I have.
Yep. So he's well trained. And a boring fact for you. Moriarty and Sherlock Holmes were invented, people often associate with London. Here on my home city of Edinburgh is the home of Sherlock Holmes. Just like 5 minutes from my work is a statue of Sherlock Holmes, and I got comatose drunk like 2 weeks ago in a pub called Moriarty. So all roads lead back to Earl Grey, you could say.
That's amazing because if you've never seen Voyager and you come up with that, they basically made that episode and basically answered the questions.
Yeah, I've seen Voyager, but I liked that, and because I know that 7 of 9 and the Doctor have a good relationship, and so I thought that would be interesting to see her trying to, say no, the Doctor is not a living thing. Just because of their relationship, and then also her logical side of being Borg and just the facts type of thing.
Right.
So
that's a good choice. Yeah. I like it.
Hey, thank you. All right, Lee, give us another off the wall.
Uh-oh.
So we had Star Wars. Well, what about the Star Trek The Next Generation episode, The Price? Do you remember that episode? Where the Ferengi make an appearance again.
Is that the one where they got stuck in the wormhole?
Yeah. So the Ferengi make an appearance, and the Enterprise is hosting negotiations where they're going to be selling a wormhole. Why would you want the Star Trek crew to host the negotiations for a wormhole? Why not get the Stargate crew? So the negotiations are not being held on the Enterprise, but are being held on the Prometheus, the US military spaceship, and it's the Stargate SG-1 crew that are hosting it. And people like Marina Sirtis have been on Star Trek, Stargate, Robert Picardo, so much of the cast and crew of most of the cast of Star Trek have appeared at some point or another on SG-1. So it seemed like a fitting thing. The Enterprise crew don't have that much experience with wormholes, so let's get a star team that does. And what about a team that actually goes in through wormholes each and every week on Sci-Fi or Showtime? So it's going to be the Stargate SG-1 team replacing the Next Generation team. So yes, there's my pitch for The Price.
I think we should have came up with rules for this because I don't think we did.
That's what makes it fun.
True. Very true.
Rules are good. You give me an inch, I take a mile.
Yes. If nothing else, we have definitely learned that working with Lee.
No, I like it. I like it a lot. Not a huge fan of Stargate. My dad is. He's what was it? The last Starfest that we had here in Denver was mostly about Stargate, and I learned quite a bit.
So cool. I think you would like Stargate SG-1, Amy. It's like Samantha Carr. I reckon you would really rock her character. She's like a scientist, mathematician, there
you go.
Genius.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I will have to check it out.
Just kind of be a bit. The first couple episodes are a bit ropey, but yeah, it's like a hell of a show. And I think like when you watch, it's very Next Generation inspired. That they kind of took that kind of the vibe of the Next Generation really for the first couple of seasons. And yeah, there is a lot of Next Generation cast that pop up. Marina Sirtis pops up as a Russian at some point, so there's that. So yeah, it was a brilliant show. And me and Darren Moser, former host of Earl Grey, we did a podcast talking about our love from Stargate SG-1. So if there's any fans of it out there, you can find us on the Filibuster podcast talking about the wonderful Stargate SG-1.
And when did Stargate air? Is it still going on? Or?
Well, no, it was on for like 10 years. So I think it started about like 98, 97. And it went on for quite a while. And then it had 2 spin-off shows, Stargate Atlantis, Stargate Universe. And Stargate Universe is kind of like Voyager, but done better. And then Stargate Atlantis is kind of a bit
I don't think the people at To the Jury is going to agree with you on that one.
No comment. But yeah, it's done better in a way. It's very more kind of like Battlestar Galactica. And then Stargate Atlantis is kind of like about a remote space station essentially. So it's a bit more of a Deep Space Nine feel, but it kind of taps into a lot of kind of Next Generation vibe. It's a brilliant series. It takes a lot of time to catch up with it on. So, I'd encourage you after you've watched Deep Space Nine to check out SG-1. I think you would love Sam Carter, and I think, I would love to see them coming together and dealing with the Ferengi and, managing the sails of a wormhole, essentially.
Nice.
So in Amy's case, never. I'm just messing with you.
Okay. All right. Well, I did write it down. I've heard people that's SG-1 then, right?
Yeah, Stargate SG-1.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I hear people talk, and again, it's just over my head. Another sci-fi series I have not watched.
It's got Richard Dean Anderson. The Simpsons taught me that kind of, people women love Richard Dean Anderson, so surely that's another incentive as well.
There you go.
All right.
It's a good show. It's just I have no time for it. I watched so many other shows that it's just hard to give up.
The military angle, you would have quite liked it, Richard.
Yeah, you would think so, but it didn't sell it to me well. Maybe it's because, like you said, the first few episodes aren't really up to par like it is now, because I know it's hooked my dad, and I know it's hooked several other people that I know that are veterans, but it just didn't hook me. Maybe I just need to watch more.
Periodic reminder, this is Trek FM's dedicated Star Trek The Next Generation podcast.
And not Force FM.
Exactly.
We get to go on tangents every now and then. I think every show does it.
Exactly.
So. All right. Well, Richard, give us another one off of your list.
You mean my last one?
Your last one. Yes. This is our third.
Okay. So out of all obviously we've seen, except for Enterprise and TOS, actually, we've seen interactions with Q. I want to see Kirk beat up Q. I really do. I would love to see that. I would love to see how he would react to him. He's that kind of captain that just, I don't give a damn about, what you're all about. And if you want to mess with me, well, you're going to come through me. So I chose Q, and of course the TOS crew to deal with him, and the Borg. And you know what? Honestly, I think that it would, if the TOS crew had the technology like TNG did, I think it would have been a little bit different, maybe a little bit more cautious. But then again, it is Kirk, so guns a blazing. Throw everything we got.
Yeah. I suppose Cisco showed that you can punch a god. So, probably Kirk would I can imagine with the torn shirt trying to grapple with Q.
You would think that he would be back for more. And I would have thought he would have been back. He would have been like a reoccurring villain in Deep Space Nine. I really wished he was. But it's just I don't know. I don't know. It just didn't feel right. I mean, the chemistry between Q and Cisco didn't feel proper like it did with Picard and I was about to say Kate Mulgrew. It's not Kate Mulgrew. It's
Janeway.
Janeway, thank you.
Oh yeah,
At least
I'm the one that's going to be in trouble from to the Journey people. You're the one that can't even name the captain that was in 178 episodes.
Hey, I'm doing them a favor for Denver Comic Con. They know what it is. So.
Oh yeah.
Okay, what about you? What is your last one, Amy?
Okay, so this is the one where I went off the wall, and I this is the one that's going to be super fun. So I love and own all the episodes of Friends. So the one where the Joey and Chandler versus Rachel and Monica in the quiz game where they are being quizzed to figure out who's going to get the apartment. Have you guys
That
seen
is a
that one?
classic episode. I'm not a big Friends fan. I preferred Frasier and the Seinfeld in the 90s, but God, I love that episode.
The lightning round.
Fancy guests.
Oh, oh my gosh, it's so funny.
My God. How many were there? 11.
You know what we need to do? This is a statement of intent. I'm gonna come up with something where in a month or so where we'll have a quiz. I'll quiz you guys and it'll be a kind of, I don't know, to compete to be the king or queen of Earl Grey or something like that, and we will have a Star Trek themed quiz that has the same rounds as the Friends quiz. We're going to do something like that.
Yes, it is. It's so good. So what I was thinking for our TNG crew was we would have and say who knows each other better. We would have the good friends Data and Geordi versus Deanna and Beverly, and have them go at it, and have Riker be the moderator, have Riker be Ross and asking the questions. And I can just see it. It would be so much fun.
Would that be fair for Data to be on one of the teams? Wouldn't he be better for the commentator?
But then if it's about but I suppose it's knowledge and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. He may have knowledge about everything in the world and science, but
Yeah, because it's more based on their friendship. Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah. Yeah, I guess not everything's in a database.
Yeah, exactly.
Database? Oh my gosh, that brings up so many good memories. I love that episode.
I know, it's the only so one. Funny.
It was the one thing I love about that episode is that when they wake up because of the rooster, she's going through some changes.
Yes,
I just love that part. It was is that you?
Yeah, so that's my mix match. The out of the box one's there. And I was trying to figure it out because I'm like, well, what would they be fighting for? The apartment. And the closest thing I could get to was when Worf grows 2 bridges, and then they would be fighting over which bridge to get. But that was a stretch.
Yeah, that'll work. I could definitely see that. Yeah.
So bringing my love of Friends to Next Generation there. All right, Lee.
Okay, my third.
I'm sitting down for this one.
Exactly.
Oh, here we go.
My third and final choice is a bit of a different take on the best of both worlds. I mean, some people have said that the Borg were based on kind of the Japanese technology of the 80s. Some people say the Borg are kind of like zombies. And which Star Trek cast member has like experience in dealing with zombies? Amy, do you know any?
No, I do not.
Richard?
Are you talking about like a Walking Dead character?
Not Walking Dead, but like a Star Trek actor kind of in the reboot series that maybe having experience of dealing with zombies.
Yeah, I don't do zombie movies. So
what about
I wouldn't know.
A rom-zom-com?
Oh, yes. Okay, I know what you're talking about now. Yep. Okay.
Listen, wait, just to clarify here, what do you think I'm talking about?
I'm thinking you're talking about Rom.
No. Okay, I'm talking about the Shaun of the Dead team. Silence. God, this is you know what, I'm so happy that like Duncan Barrett and AJ Black will be listening to this episode. They'll be like, they're screaming, like they'll know it. Shaun of the Dead is like this cult British movie starring Simon Pegg and Nick Frost as Sean and Ed, and basically it's about two guys as there's been a random zombie invasion of Britain, and their solution is to just wait for it all to blow over, and they're going to go to the pub, and they know how to deal with zombies. And we heard in like Star Trek The Next Generation and a bit of Deep Space Nine about what the Borg crisis was like on Earth, that everyone was so worried and panicked. What we needed to see it was from that perspective. What was it like while this was all kicking off? And I want to see Simon Pegg just, showing how he could handle zombies, and that would deal with his own little corner of this zombie invasion, or Borg invasion if you want to tenuously link it. So yeah, I want to see the Shaun of the Dead team out there having a pint, waiting for the Borg invasion to all blow over, just sitting in some pub in London while it's like streaming, oh, the Borg ship's now above Earth, oh, they're all sleeping, and then it explodes. And yeah, I'm sure when I'm going to send you some stuff, like you'll recognize the meme where it's like Simon Pegg having a beer, cheeky face, and it's just like, let's wait for all this to blow over. I'm sure that would be what we'd all be like if that was like we were living in this Star Trek world where it was all going to hell essentially. We'd just be like, well, pub. And that's what Simon Pegg did, and that was his big break into kind of movies after starring in Spaced. This was a movie by Edgar Wright as well, total geek legend. So yeah, that is my third crew. The Shaun of the Dead crew would be replacing the Next Generation crew for a bit of a different perspective on the best of both worlds.
Huh. I've actually seen parts of Shaun of the Dead. I think that was the first and only no, that's not true, because I've seen World War Z.
Yeah, like Shaun of the Dead is so much better. Like it was famously described as a rom-zom-com, romantic zombie comedy. So like I don't like zombie stuff, like it's so boring, but this one is like a comedy masterpiece.
Huh. Isn't Bill Murray in that movie?
No, that's Zombieland.
Oh, right.
Shaun of the Dead's a British movie. It's like... Yeah.
Right. I've seen bits and parts of that movie too.
There you go.
Well, what'd you think, Amy? No? Yeah?
Yeah, there's Lee again, going all crazy. Across the pond over there.
You guys need to see a look on her face. She's like, I don't know.
I've got to fly the single British flag just all by myself sometimes.
Yes,
there you go. There's
do.
for the British fans. There you go. And especially those who like zombie movies. I don't know. I don't see the fascination, but that's me.
We'll see like a Venn diagram of like Earl Grey listeners that watch rom-zom-coms, Earl Grey people that watch Friends. Get like we need to
and
do like
Stargate.
We need there's me and Darren Moser. That's two.
Yeah.
So what we really need to do is like we need to carry out an Earl Grey census. That's what we need to do. We need to find out what our fans and listeners listen to, watch, are interested in, so we can really target you in future with things you like. Because there's probably like 2/3 are like, what's a rom-zom-com? And then another 1/3 are like, oh, yeah, a rom-zom-com. And then there's like probably people that are listening to this in like Asia or the Middle East that are like, what is this British guy talking about? Bring back Justin Ozer.
You know what? we should do this again, but this time have parameters. but for
Richard.
well, no. I mean, like if we're gonna do like different shows or something like that, that would be. I could think of a couple of them right now, but it's like I was like, damn. Oh well, that's okay. That's okay.
Well, so Lee, off the cusp, you said that you liked Frasier. I too enjoy Frasier. So what would you mix up with the Frasier cast?
Well, have you ever? Well, I don't know if you guys remember. Like it was Star Trek's 30th anniversary. They did like you had Janeway in charge of the Enterprise, Voyager, and like the Frasier cast except Kelsey Grammer were on the bridge. Have you ever seen that?
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that one. Yep.
Yeah, like Roz is the communications officer, Daphne is the telepath, Martin is sitting in his chair in the command as the commander, and then Niles is just floating about, and they're like, yeah, have you seen that?
You should.
But it sounds awesome.
Yeah. It is.
So basically, 20 years ago, they did a Star Trek Frasier mashup, and then Kelsey Grammer got to be in Cause and Effect. So that's kind of. He's kind of already crossed over. So technically all of the Frasier crew in one combination or another have crossed over to the next generation. So I don't even need to do anything in this one. I just need to go to YouTube. You'll see this dream come to life.
Yeah, it's quite hilarious. You like it. You'd like it.
I'll send a link to you.
Well, mixing and matching the crews of TNG isn't the only topic we've been talking about here on the network. Here's a quick look at what you might have missed elsewhere on Trek FM.
Previously on Trek.fm, Warp 5.
I am so heartened to hear you say that, because that is probably my favorite episode of maybe all of the produced episodes I've ever written. And it was something that was inspired by what I find a theme in my work in writing, which is that moral dilemma of, what would you do for the greater good? And how much would you sacrifice? And what does it do to you?
Saturday Morning Trek.
Roddenberry was very involved with the first episode. And for that episode, we needed to come up with the derelict spaceship. And as a result, as the brand new guy on the crew who had spaceships and stuff in his portfolio, I got the job of coming up with that ship.
Continuing mission.
We were pitching our idea, Don and I, to the folks at Starbase Studios. And I vowed to myself that I wasn't going to walk on the bridge and then go sit immediately in the chair and have a picture taken of myself. However, as soon as I got on the bridge, I sat in the chair and I took a picture of myself. So it was like a kid in a candy store.
And that's what else is happening on Trek.fm.
So, Richard, where can people find you?
Well, no, I'm just kidding. Well, they can actually find me on Facebook. They can find me on the Babel Conference. It's my next favorite place to be. I'm just kidding. But you can find me there, popping in there, causing a little trouble. And I disabled my Twitter and...
yes, can people find you on Twitter?
No, because they deleted it. So I am no longer on Twitter. So I apologize. So it's no longer X Ransom. I'll figure out a way to get it right back. But sucks.
Well, Lee, you mentioned to us a little bit about Filibuster, so where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on the Nerd Party Network doing Nerd and Geek Culture podcast. Just did an episode just the other week with Darren Moser. People seem to like when me and him podcast together. So, we did a podcast all about him being a stormtrooper, which was good fun. And we discussed Stargate and everything in between. We've had a few interviews with some pretty awesome people as well lately. Ben Wheatley, which was mind-blowing. You can find me on the Nerd Party Network. You can find me on Twitter. I'm on there at Lee_Nostromo. And you can find me. It's more producing than kind of hearing me in front of it, but you can hear me on the Glasgow's Green podcast. At this exact moment, we're currently trending in Glasgow. So, I turned 30 a few days ago and I've already peaked for the year. I'm we're trending in Glasgow. So what an achievement, eh? Usually it's if it's some sort of food is trending in Glasgow, like a battered Mars bar. So yeah, you can find me there, and you can find me at Star Trek VHS.
Excellent. You can find me on Twitter at Miss Amy Nelson, where I tweet all my Star Trek watchings. But I really enjoyed the Babel Conference, Trek FM's dedicated Facebook group to the Trek FM. That was funny. And yes, so join us next time for another cup of Earl Grey.
Today is a good day to die.
Who died and made you king of the zombies?
Great joy and gratitude.